Welcome to Biggest Geekus. We're your hosts. I'm Joe.
And I'm Randy.
This is episode 136 of our show. And the date is Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. Emphasis on 26 because we had a little flub. And Randy here making it back in the skin of his teeth.
Teeth skin, baby.
Teeth skin.
How I do.
All right. Well, no gaming for me. Did you get some gaming in?
This past week, I did not. But I did prep. I did prep for CabinCon, so that's kind of like gaming.
Kind of. It is kind of like gaming.
This is the last week, finals week. Ladies in the house, Ryan David. I heard Ryan David's episode last week and loved it. Did you listen to that last week?
I am way behind on my podcast listenings.
He mentioned to Bert about some sort of poll and youngins playing D&D. Hey, Gary D20. Don't think I've seen your name before, but you're welcome. Full Metal Dragon. Oh, dude. Great name. Full Metal Dragon. Nice.
Full Metal.
A Nerd Cognito, which everybody should be watching and have it on their podcatcher.
So a poll as in a metal poll or as in a
taking
a poll.
D&D players. Like, what did he say? What was it, Ryan? The top number one thing they couldn't do without players. If they didn't have this, they couldn't play D&D. Guess what it was?
What's that? Say that again.
So the 5e players, a lot of 5e players were polled, and I think it was the number one thing that they needed to play D&D. If they didn't have it, they could not play D&D. 7 out of 10. Ryan Davis, 7 out of 10 folks said this.
Tissues for their teary eyes.
Their phones.
No. Oh, you're kidding me.
That's worse.
Okay, Flady. Oh, I'll have to look into that. We're having some issues with the merch end of our business. It worked okay until we did the new update, but it's like when you paint a wall and you accidentally paint over perhaps a light socket or something. You don't normally do that, but you cover things up sometimes you don't mean to. And I think that's what ended up happening. But I'll get the guys on it and make sure that it's fixed up.
Oh, man, the crowd is in the house. I think they want to win your book tonight, Joe.
Yes, tonight we will be. Oh, yeah. Since I decided to take my dogs out last minute, and then Randy, as soon as I sat down, took off and didn't come in until I signed on, we couldn't have this discussion that we need to have right now, which is
live. Let's do it live.
Yeah, do it live, which is selection of you girls out there for the giveaway.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say, figure out how many individual people we have on here, and then just roll randomly. But what I might do instead is we might have to do a guess thing where someone makes a guess and the closest. We can't come up with something off the top of our head, probably.
No,
but we'll figure something out.
We could throw out the CabinCon guys, but I won't do that because I mentioned which CabinCon it was last week. We could have them guess that one, but I think that's too easy. So I think instead, I think we should just count them up and roll a dice. I brought my DCC dice with me, so we can do that. But I bought Sparkle Trolls T-shirt from Nerd Cognito, which you should get one too if you still can. I don't know if they're still doing it, but it looked pretty sweet just to watch people.
Yeah. I don't understand these guys and their short run T-shirt designs. Why can't you just leave them up forever? I don't
forever.
Well, what does it matter? It's just data on a website. I
don't know.
Then again, I don't know the folks that they use. Maybe they have their rules, or maybe it's some kind of it's one of those. It's only available for 2 weeks, so come and get it while supplies last kind of deal.
He said you still can. They're printing them on demand. They're $2 more that way. They're worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, so our t-shirts are print on demand as well.
Yeah.
So once we get it fixed, I will alert our devs to the issue.
So I was pretty excited about that. I was working out at the gym and I heard him talking. I said, dude, I need to get that. So I got it immediately. I just ordered it on my phone while I was working out, being very millennial of me.
Right. You needed your phone for that, apparently.
Yeah, I can't work out without my phone. I don't have my phone.
Yeah. I can't leave. I can't even breathe unless I can touch my phone. Otherwise, I will fall over and die.
Yeah, I'm kind of reporting on the show at Ryan, but Ryan talked about how he used to be if I'm getting this right, Ryan, let me know. If I misspeak, let me know. That he was a real stickler for not having phones at the table. I think that was it. I really want to have that. He said, I wanted the 7. I don't know what that means. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. I must be. I have to have my phone when I'm working out, but not when I'm playing. Yeah, my phone does.
I thought you guys were leaving me out of something.
Yeah, we're gonna do the special. Oh, a shout out to Shadow and Son. I was on his podcast he had a special a 1,000th episode or something. No, I forgot what it was. 1 year anniversary. A 1 year anniversary episode. Got to meet Jack, talk with him, and a couple other people, and that was really fun. Yeah, Ryan, I had the same thing. He said he used to have a no phone rule. Now we have a don't be a dick rule. Yeah, I was heading down that path. Then I didn't want to be everybody's dad, and I was like, nah. But come on, get your head out of the phone. That's stupid. It's an excuse. People say, well, I need to have something to fiddle with. No, you don't. Focus on what you're doing. But anyway, so yeah, but I had a good week. My week is going well. I got finals starting tomorrow, which is sweet. So by Friday, I'll be done. A graduation to go to at the end of the week, and then I'm out. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you.
Cool. I was on. He's not here.
Mr. Boivin.
Mr. Boivin's show for a live stream last Thursday.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool for his giveaway.
What did he end up giving away? I didn't see that part.
Well, he's trying to give away a gift card, but that was one of the papered over items at the store when we got the new update. It kind of screwed up some stuff with gift cards and apparently the merch, and we're getting that stuff fixed. But yeah, a gift card at BGE.
Mr. Boivin just snuck in. He says,
there he goes.
He called his name. He showed up. So, yeah, I prefer that, Flighty. He says, I'm still not going to police people unless you're expecting a business or family medical issue. Turn the phone off at the table once the dice are rolled. I think I get you can use electronics at the table and they can be functional. This hippie here used Hero Lab for a while in Pathfinder. To me, though, and it's not, this is going to sound hoity-toity, but I really think if you really want to be in the game, you need to be in the game. Put the side crap away and focus on what you're doing. Even if you have to be bored for half a second. I mean, it's not going to be nonstop excitement. Bruce in the house. He says hello.
Yeah, I just turned the volume off so it doesn't bug me.
Yeah. Put it on buzz and keep it in the pocket. I really want to go to Cabin Con without my phone, but I think the wife would be too nervous.
That's not going to happen.
I would like to just leave it at home. Actually, I've been thinking about a tech vacation sometime soon, since I'm going to be on vacation. But
yes, and that's going to be the one where you get lost in the woods.
That would be so. And
you get lost, and you can't find civilization because you left your phone.
And I have to live off the land like a real barbarian. I'll kill a bear with my bare hands and I eat him. That'd be great.
That would be great.
Or I just have to starvation. Hey, I got a lot to lose, so I can survive quite a while.
You just have to be able to find drinkable water.
That's the key. You would survive you can go without food for like a month. Pretty close to that, 3 weeks.
Well, it depends on the person and depends on, if you're just thrown out there without, have you ever fasted for more than 2 or 3 days at a time?
I've never done more than 3.
So that would be something you're not used to and something that would be difficult. I'm not saying, I mean, you wouldn't have any choice if you didn't have any food. It just would be, so I don't know how, for those of us who are just a skosh above our minimum body weight, how much that staves off death from not having food.
Yeah, I don't know. Bruce said he had something cool happen. He said, Bruce said, Lombardo Dick's Division, I did the best boomer maneuver last night. On a stream to Rumble, I effed up and didn't share the StreamYard info. Instead, sharing OBS, which had no Omenow on it, just his voice. Boy, that sounds horrible if I knew what that meant. I don't know. I've heard of those words, OBS and StreamYard.
So essentially, essentially he did his show with just Omenow's voice instead of Omenow's face and voice.
Righto. Flady is asking about Big Geek Con. That was going to be at the end. Are you going to be bailing early tonight? I was going to do a Big Geek Con at the end, but if you really need to know, I can tell you the good news. There's good news on Big Geek Con.
Good news. And you will not need a COVID test.
No. Except Joe. Joe has to get one. I can't be trusted near Joe if he hasn't had his COVID shot. So.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Full Metal Dragon claims the larger you are, the more fat you have, the longer you can live during extended fasting. I'm practically
that year long fast. I think was from like an 800-pound dude or more, maybe 1,200. There was a extremely overweight dude who went a long time without eating.
Oh wow, that's kind of crazy. Arn Man's got it right. He's been studying for his COVID test. Good, because there will be a test. Do you want to get a shot? No, that's the correct answer. Do what you want, but that'll be the correct answer. Big Geek Con. Do you need to show me your papers? No, I don't want to see them. Bruce said he did a 2-week fast in the hospital while fighting COVID. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how it affected so many people. I mean, just so many different ways. So yeah, Ryan David wants me to dish the dirt. Should I give it to him now or make him wait?
We could say, hey, having Big Geek Con is on for this year.
It's on.
Details later.
It's happening, people.
It's happening. Details to come.
Yes.
I mean, in this show later on, after the break, after the commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, we don't have a
commercial break. You know, that's something we should have a commercial. You and I should make one and do like a video and have it just play. Can you make it play like us just stop and then play during the video?
Yeah, just like I do the that countdown video.
Yeah.
Julio.
But yeah, other than that, nothing too exciting. I mean, the Big Geek Con's happening, and I'll relay the info. So I did send you an updated outline like 8 minutes ago, and I just switched around the bottom list with the top and kind of put some things in different positions, but I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Are you serious? 8 minutes ago? And you're just now telling me.
It's not really a change. All the stuff's on there. I added your raw thing. So.
Oh yeah. I added a couple of things to my copy. I forgot about raw.
Okay, that's cool.
I'll do that now.
Yep. I've already got on, but Martinson's already offering to help out. He's ready to make it happen. So cool. Oh, he wants the deets on his podcast in case he has to drop out. Okay, Ryan David, I will email you. How am I going to get that to you, Ryan? How do I just email him from his podcast email? That's probably
telepathy.
Well, yeah, I could do that, but I wasn't sure if Ryan wanted he may not want me in his melon. People get nervous about that sometimes.
Are you going to actually give him a choice? I mean, are you a man?
I've become a kinder, gentler old man. So I give him a choice.
You mean a girl?
Basically. All right, cool.
All right. So, because I'm the man this week and running this thing, I will step all over Randy and do this, because if I don't, he will start taking over. All right. Shall we go into the main topic?
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
We're going to be myth busting up in here, as the kids say.
Yeah, it's the kids say.
Totally white. I'm a totally white dude. All right. We're going to debunk some myths. I originally thought we could do myths about the game, and then how we could use myths in the game. Maybe that could be a separate show, or
okay,
if
cool.
we
myths in the game. That's cool. I'll write that down, because if I write it down, it happens.
Yeah, make sure if you spell satanic, you spell it with one N this time.
Shut up. Don't spell check. No time for that.
All right. So, being in this hobby for 40 years, lots of years, 40 plus years, we've heard a lot of crazy junk about our hobby that we know doesn't exist, because we've been doing it for a while.
Right. It's not a thing. Yeah.
So back in the day, we had some, such as the Satanic Panic, focused their lens on our hobby and said it was devil worship, which is clearly not. It never was.
No. Now,
there were some things depicted within the game that you could say were troublesome or whatever, but there were no instructions for worshiping anything, and no evangelism in that arena.
Nobody casted real spells.
No.
I mean, I never saw Joe pull up a bag of bat guano and go, "Ooh, fireball." We tried to get him to carry bat guano, and he wouldn't do it.
Right. So when that chick track, Dark Dungeons, came out, I was like, well, this is supposed to be a church thing. Why would they just say a bunch of, I mean, it was a full on lie, the whole thing.
Yep.
And that's, so that made me just not really trust that dude or any of those things at all.
I don't know if you and I didn't suffer. I mean, none of my stuff got confiscated. My mom was worried for about 3 seconds, and she saw how we played. And I told everybody, I've said before, she thinks we pretend we're dragons. That's what she thinks we're doing. So,
yeah, I wouldn't call that a myth. I would call that just a misconception. And, there were probably some people out there who did both at the same time.
Oh, sure. I mean, D&D it's from myth and legend, and there's occult pieces in it if you want to make it. And you could stress it and make it become something it's not. Sure. What's up, Legion? In the house? Yeah, I mean, it was bull crap. I mean, it was fear mongering. It was, I don't know what the game is. Sounds like there's spells. It sounds like they're magic. It's got to be the devil. So that was the long and the short of it. We're not here to talk Satanic Panic, but that was definitely one of the things that quickly is no way, shape, or form true.
Right. And when any of them talked, it was obviously they didn't know what they were talking about. Didn't read anything.
No,
it is really, really strange. No. Now, one that you listed down here, another myth.
Yeah.
No board nonsense.
Mm-hmm. And maybe I experienced this. Maybe no one else did. I had several people say, "How do you play this game? There's no board." That's crazy. You can't play a game if you don't have a board. That's
because every game out there has a board. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and if I had the little miniatures, they're like, "Well, where do you move them to?" That's true. That's another myth. Actually, Gary D20 says, "Yes, I lived through the Satanic Panic. Back then, you weren't looking at as a nerd or a geek for playing D&D. You were considered a weirdo or a freak." Yeah, depending on where you were. People are bringing up mazes and monsters. Yeah, but my mother never had a real issue with it. I had an uncle who's pretty religious, and he had some problems. His wife, particularly, that he was married to at the time, had some problems with it. But I mean, she wasn't my mom, so it didn't matter what problems she had. But yeah,
so they're saying you can't play a game without a board.
Right.
Which is weird.
I can't tell you how many people, even through college, they'd be like, "How are you playing that game? Where's the board?" I mean, that's what they'd always say. Where? Now, some people were just honestly saying, "Where's the board? I've never seen this." And others were like, "That's not really a game. That's weird. Without a board, what are you doing?" and you're just making stuff up. That's the kind of my next one, right?
Right. Just make believe, playing pretend. I mean, that doesn't even really have to be an element.
Nope.
I mean, you do have to make some things up, or you can buy a module and play through it, and you don't have to play pretend at all.
No.
Doing a little role playing can make your game a little more interesting, but it's definitely not required to meet objectives.
Right.
Although that's probably, some no speak. Don't tell anybody I said that.
Said what now? What's the problem? What's no speak? I missed it.
Well, I just said you don't necessarily have to role play to role play, in essence.
Oh yeah, true.
So
you don't have to act to role play.
Right. Right. So people looked at it like that. So that made it seem of a lesser hobby. Too many esoteric tomes to try to master. Oh, there's too many books.
Yeah, and they were too big for a lot of people. I heard that a lot too. And they can say, "Oh, I'm not playing that game. There's way too much reading." I actually hear that. I've heard that with young players today that've never played it. Potential players.
I'm just going to say they're a bunch of wussies.
Dude.
Okay. Let's see.
Legion of Myth says, well, unless you're beating each other with actual swords, then you're playing pretend. Okay.
You rolling dice and see what outcomes are. So, Player's Handbook from back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Player's
What's
Handbook.
That, like 127 pages? Is that 127 pages? Yeah.
120, 150. 120 something.
Yep.
This is Player's Guide for Hyperborea for now. Yeah. So maybe they do have something to complain about. It's a lot longer. This is the player's manual. This isn't the core books, and this is over 300 pages.
Yeah. And most
so back in the day, that complaint would be, laughable.
Well, I mean, if they looked at the box, remember the box kept all the books in?
Oh, sure.
They could say,
it's so thick.
Yeah, there's so many books, but a lot of players that were actually interested wouldn't quit because of that. Because if they asked me, "Do I got to memorize all that?" I'm like, "No, sit down. We'll make a character. You'll play. You have to know almost none of it. I'm running this crap. Don't worry about it."
Well, once you get invested in the game, sure, you're going to have several books, and if you pile them all up and look at them and say you must memorize all this by tomorrow, that could be intimidating. But
now, Armin makes a good point. They do use bigger typeface now in general.
Yeah. That is true.
The 120 something pages for the PHB was pretty small writing.
Well, I wonder if they did use a bigger font, the bigger font that we have now, how much of a difference that would be. It's quite a bit different. Yeah. That's very small. That's a very small type. That's probably 8. That's probably 8. That's probably
it was probably 8, yeah.
Well, it looks like 8, like 8 or something like that, 8 or 9.
The modern one. I'm going to grab the one that's soon to be defunct. When
the current font,
when D&D 5e comes out,
Hyperborea's got to be more like 10 or 11.
And I would say the font on 5e is probably 10, maybe 12. Yeah. I don't know.
I wonder how that translates into page length, or yeah.
Yeah, 5e is 300 and something pages for the player's handbook.
Yeah.
Bruce says, I'd always tell people, yes, memorize everything and intimidate them out of the hobby. Do that to every snowflake.
Right. Okay, so too many books, and there's too much to read. Where? Yeah. And another myth: killing things and taking their stuff. That's all there is to it. It can be.
I heard that from other gamers. I heard the gamers. I mean, I think I told this story. I went to college. Oh, Mark Flaty's got a comment at 7:54 I want to get to today, but Wait a minute, Mr. Malvin said, hold on before we go to this. Malvin says nobody read the books. I beg to differ, dude. If you're talking about the 1E books, I read the living crap out of those.
After I pointed out that we probably should read them.
Good point. For a year or two, I was just making it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to start Full Metal Dragon 2. They got a couple good comments we need to talk about the Pinkertons, but
that sounds like somebody should have some holes in them from small pieces of lead flung from small tubular cylinders of metal.
Yeah, everybody's commenting there. Yeah. Oh, Rambler made a good comment too. I'll start that. We might want to talk about his myth. He's got a myth there for us. We'll kind of get to that a little bit. But so
yeah, that's part of it.
What you said, yeah, I had gamers tell me, yeah, I don't play D&D anymore because it's just killing things, taking their stuff. I was in college my first year at Indiana University, and I think I told the story. Maybe I didn't. I'm old. You have to listen to me again. So I rolled up at the Union, and I'm like, they had advertisement for a game, and I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And I get in there, and I see they have a big Talisman game going on that night. Oh, that's cool. I played Talisman. I go, what kind of you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? Dungeons and Dragons. Huh. That's for kids. We play Fantasy Hero. They literally said that to me. And I was like, this is.
I had a similar experience where I was reading the Player's Handbook, and I was in the military. I was at my, I can't remember particularly what duty station I was at. I was in the day room reading my Player's Handbook.
You said duty.
Duty. Anything related to poop, you've got to say something.
I do.
He said, "Oh, that game. Hey, that's the game where you rape and pillage."
Wow, those you play too?
I'm like, what game are you playing? That was never the game I played. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Fantasy Hero, like the hero system. I think so. This was back in 87.
Oh, like that. Yeah, Hero System was out at that point.
I'm not knocking the system. I was just knocking the way they responded to me.
Yeah.
Like I was a 2-year-old because I played D&D, and I was like, whatever, dude. I'm sure your fantasy game is much more mature than my fantasy game.
Oh, sure.
Your dragons are much more mature than my elves. So I was like,
in fact, the games shared artists. Mm-hmm. Palladium used some of the same artists that TSR used.
Of course, there's only so many doing.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
It was stupid.
So we're talking about myths about the game itself. A more recent myth is that it was rooted in white supremacy.
What is their evidence for that?
Which shocks everybody who's actually played the game.
Right.
Because we had no idea.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I knew I was supposed to wear a clan outfit, I mean, they should have told me. It'd have been nice to know.
I mean, I could have found a source for that. We could have gone painstakingly through the internet and found documented, sources for just about every one of these myths. But folks here in chat are agreeing with most of us. We've all heard these things and seen these things.
You can Google it. You can find it. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
But white supremacy is something that's come up in the last 3-4 years, and it's stupid. And I don't know if D&D in particular. Yes, D&D in particular, because of the Gygax clan and some of their not so great words, but
what did they say?
White supremacy is stupid.
It's so dumb. Yeah, I don't know. And
we halt your regularly scheduled programming, interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for a note from our technical crew. The issue with the T-shirts, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, the T-shirt issue should be fixed. So Flady, I think it was Flady, right? Who had that concern early on. You should go ahead and check that again. If you still have a problem, let me know.
Arman makes a good point. Being a weirdo D&D player at the time is an odd way to enforce supremacy. Right on.
For those of us who were in the early days, we all know this has been repeated. I don't know by how many people. We were all generally social outcasts,
right,
in some way or another, or we were just socially awkward. There was no supremacy about it. But it was created in probably the whitest part of America,
right,
which is something to say because America's still pretty white. You wouldn't know it by our media, but it's a pretty white country. And right in the middle of white bread whiteness, I mean, this part of our country is whiter than milk. So,
and who gives a crap? I mean, seriously, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, there's a lot of things about white guys and black guys and Oriental guys and cheese. Oh, Oriental is probably a poo-poo word. Chinese guys, Korean, South Vietnamese people.
Right, and if you look at even at the earliest artwork in the three booklets that first came out, they were filled with all kinds of different looking people.
Yes, there's a guy with a turban in there.
Yeah, they had representation, if that's what you really like, but it showed all kinds of different people in there. There wasn't just white dudes.
They were clearly feminists because they had the women with their boobs out on the altar.
Right.
I mean, seriously,
what's
not more feminine than that?
Right. So, well, we're not on a inclusion kick today either. We're just talking about myths, and this is one of them. And it's a myth that's come out in our current time. Now, I have another one that's going to perhaps cause some arguments.
I'm going to argue big time.
First part of it won't. Raw. Rules as written.
Okay.
Right? There's this big thing. It's mostly on the internet. I don't think it's really we don't talk about it too much at the game table, except when we say according to the rules, which is another way of saying rules as written.
Right.
But on the interwebs, there are some factions or just subgroups in our hobby who will holler about rules as written and that you must play rules as written. And if you don't, you're not playing the game. Even though in some versions of these games, it's almost impossible to play rules as written because of the way the rules are written, sometimes in a very inconsistent manner across the corpus of the game.
Right.
So it's a ridiculous position. And also I play the way I want to at my table.
Right.
So there.
I have no Welcome Patriot hobbies, and Cigar DM got in the house. I don't mind if a group wants to play. Hey, we're going to try to, the Bro SR, we're going to try to play the rules as written, first edition, the way we think Gary intended. But as long as you're not trying to act like it's somehow superior, which they will, and if you're not playing that rules as written, you're not playing the game. Bull crap. The game is DIY. It has been since day one. Gygax never played by his own stupid rules that he printed.
He even said, use what you like, don't use what you don't like. He did say at some point you're not necessarily playing Dungeons and Dragons anymore, but
I think that can happen. You can make house rules where like it's not really D&D when you're like, well, we don't use levels and we only have 2 stats and we don't really do experience points. We get experience points and buy them to purchase skills, and we don't have classes and we don't use
right.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue,
but the line there isn't defined. So he didn't say if you don't use this, that, and the other thing, you're no longer playing D&D. He just said at some point, which is vague, which means do what you want. Long shot backs you up.
Gary Gygax even wrote in the DMG, the game was meant to be played the way you wanted to play. And if you want to play it with a boatload of house rules and changes, do it. I don't give a crap.
Right.
You can call it D&D. No one's come to take your books. Hey, Patty's wife's in the house. Kitty's here. Welcome.
Oh, hey, Kitty.
I thought she was gone for a few weeks. Is she logging in from another state or some other location, Patty? You still flying solo now, or is she back in town? That's cool.
The other part of this I'm going to say is rules as intended.
Yeah. Okay.
That's something that has been talked about for a while.
I've been guilty of that.
And I will just say it's mythical in and of itself. Unless you have some direction,
okay.
like a sidebar, developer's notes that tells you what they were thinking about when they made the game. There's a really cool section in Hyperborea that talks about swords and sorcery and weird fantasy or weird science fantasy and what the whole intention is there.
Yeah.
So setting a tone. But anybody who says that D&D in the early days, I mean, there's in AD&D, there's the section with all the books that inspired them, right? That could be one way of determining things, but the books are very different from each other.
I'll agree with you in the sense that you can't say this is what they intended, but I think I don't have a problem with the DM saying, I think this is the intention of the rule, and I'm going to interpret that way, and I'm going to adjust it or change it because I think it should do this. That's my intention. I don't think that's wrong, but I think you're right. I don't, because I've said it before. I can read a rule and say, I think this is what they intended. And Joe, like, how do you know? I'm like, well, I can't say I know unequivocally, but as a dungeon master, I do get to make that decision. I can say
sometimes there's some context.
Yeah.
But most of the time there's not.
No, I mean, you could argue no, sure. Especially
I mean, intentions aren't the same as, hey, roll a d20, add modifiers. This tells you what armor class you hit.
Well,
I mean, that just tells you what the rule does. That doesn't say anything about its intentions, really. It just says what the rule does.
Yeah, I want to pause for a second because is Miss Kitty from Gunsmoke? Was that her name? The lady at the bar, the one that ran the bar in Gunsmoke. Joe, do you know?
Kitty. Yes.
She's doing it right. She said, "I usually listen over Patty's shoulder, but I can't do that, so I had to hop on." Right on. That's how you do. Look at her.
Give us an extra view. We like it.
No, it's awesome. She's committed, man. She's like out of state. I don't care. Got to hear the big geeks. And I agree with Brian David. Totally fair to interpret intention, and regardless of your table, it's your interpretation that matters. I agree. I mean, I don't think I can say. I mean, Joe could say, "I don't think you're right, Randy," and I'd be like, okay, fair enough."
But some pretty interesting discussions can be had, especially away from play, because you don't want to get too into the weeds when you're playing. But away from that, it's also part of the game to have discussions about that kind of thing. But I think people just like with rules as written, people hang their hat on that stuff. And I think it's a mistake. Anyway.
Right. I mean, yeah, because people will be like, well, that's clearly what they meant, obviously. And like, if you think differently, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, rules as interpreted is probably a better RAI than rules as intended. All right. So anything else in this? So we're talking about the game itself.
I want to say hi to one of my DMs. RPG is dumb. He's recovering, so it's better than almost dead. Good deal. He's recovering from some issues, so I'm glad to see him back in action.
Yes.
And Bruce Lombardo says, after this, I'll go watch the re-stream of Rolling Bones. Howard's a nice young man. I like Ryan Howard, but I love Joe and Randy live. F it, we'll do it live. You know it. Bruce is
do it live.
Yeah. So anyway, what's the next one, man?
The next part is about myths about the players themselves.
Sure.
We're all nerds. Now that might be fair, but we have no girlfriends, which isn't true. Most of the gamers I know are married, or a great many of them. They weren't always. So just like anybody in any other sphere, there are relationship issues, and romance is complicated. So, and perhaps folks in our hobby have social awkwardness,
right,
and makes relationships more challenging for us.
Sure.
So I can see where that comes from.
I mean, Joe and I would have been the typicals in high school. They could
Yeah.
have said that about us, and that would have been right. And this is not
It would
true.
have been right in high school.
Yeah. Patrick says, "Oh yes, all gamers are virgins." Complete myth. Yeah, we've had a couple. I mean, remember my cousin Ryan, my buddy Eric. They were the opposite of that. They were
Yeah.
not the virgin, but they had more than their fair share of the ladies. So,
Right.
yeah, they were not averse to chatting at the ladies. We were complete doofuses. So,
And
but it's not like it's not. That myth is probably, well, not true. You can't say definitely unequivocally it is not true.
It's probably less a myth and more a stereotype.
Correct, which means there's probably some truism to it. You know, the definition of nerd, I just looked it up real quickly. If we're nerds, one definition is a foolish, inept, or unattractive person. Another one is I think these days, the second one more people think of, a person who is single-minded or accomplished in scientific or technical pursuits, but is felt to be socially inept. And the third definition is a person who is intellectual, but generally introverted. I think we're less, I mean, when we were young, a nerd was probably considered a foolish person. You think?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's like Revenge of the Nerds. We all kind of identified with that because they were more bookwormy. So,
Kitty says she has a theory that goth girls and gamer boys are the perfect combination. I'm thinking she might have some kind of real world experience to back that up. So
they can be.
I think they can be. I definitely saw more than my fair share of those relationships, especially in college.
Yeah, I was never into the gothy types. They were too, I don't know.
Gothy. Oh, Brian David's he's coming clean with confession. He said, "I said it before, and although I'm embarrassed about it now, I hid the fact that I played because he's a puss."
No, he wanted to get.
He wanted to get that.
He wanted to get it. Not that he was one.
Yeah. Red shirt. I agree. He says, "I think RPGs made me smarter." Yeah, they led me to a lot more reading. I mean, Joe was already a reader, but I definitely got that sort of going. I think there are a lot of people. I never hit it. There was a time where I was like, if Ryan had been at my table and he was doing that, we'd been friends hanging out, I would have totally called him out in front of girls. And the reason being, because I was offended by that back in the day. Like, I don't talk about this among other people. Why? What are you embarrassed about? There's nothing to be. I'm not picking on Ryan. I'm not. I'm just saying I would have been like that back in the day. I'd have probably, I wouldn't have been a good wingman for him. So, dude, no, because I'd love to. Don't forget, we got the Temple of Elemental Evil tomorrow night. I really want to punch you in the nuts. Oh, me too. Yeah, my wife was, she calls herself a nerd by marriage, but she likes to game some. Hasn't much recently, but did for a long time. Yeah, and now I just don't think it's. Oh, RPG is dumb. He says his Tinder profile says literally awesome at D&D. That is good.
That's definitely a babe magnet phrase.
Yeah, and that's one of them too. Kitty's bringing one up. If we're ready to go on to that. About
Thank you, Freddy.
No girls allowed. Kitty says my first introduction to games are MTC, Magic the Gathering.
I think she meant MTG, Magic the Gathering.
Or Magic, yeah. And I definitely got some odd looks when I walked into Friday Night Magic. Then you kick their butts. I feel like there isn't any many female gamers as males. I think that's still true.
Yeah, I think here's the thing: the no girls allowed part of this. The players, we didn't. It's not that we didn't allow girls; it's that our hobby is less attractive to girls in general. Not all girls, but a lot of them. It's just a tendency. I mean, gender, or sex. Our sex, the males and the female sex, they have their tendencies, and our tendencies draw us to games like this more than girls' tendencies do.
I'm trying to think back when we were playing. I know a lot of we played with a lot of my family. So when I say, and I have a big family, guys. I mean, I have Joe can attest, I have well over 200 cousins. I mean, that's maybe 300 if you count second cousins. Probably second cousin, third cousins. That'd be 300, 200 something. Anyway, back in the day, I had 10, 12 that were swarming around my house one time or the other. My cousin Missy played once. Cousin Shelly, I don't know if you remember, she played. You may have gone to the military. Shelly played for over a year. Girl named Sarah played for a while, but we didn't get a lot of females, and we would have been more than happy to have them at our table. I mean, we were, we thought it was pretty cool to have a gal playing, and we did have girls playing. So every once in a while, but it wasn't a big thing. So it's not they're not allowed. It's just I just don't know if a lot of the girls back then, because it was really kind of had a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? It had a stigma attached to it, and girls being fairly more social oriented and care, and they're not always caring about what people say and do, but yeah, I think that was kind of a thing.
Okay. Ardman, the SCA attracted more girls than D&D did. And the SCA being the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Yeah.
Which you get to play dress up in. So that makes more sense in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about the differences between men and women. And honestly, this game isn't for all men either. Yeah. So it's a very niche hobby.
Oh, and like Joe's wife plays. She played before Joe ever met her.
Yeah. She actually she was a
plays.
DM.
Yeah, she DM. Patrick's wife plays. Tim Scott's not here. His wife plays. I mean, most of the ladies play in our group. They did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have a lot of husband and wife role-playing duos. So but that doesn't mean most ladies like it. It just means that they both have common interests. D&D being one of them.
And the game cannot be somebody's jam. And I don't think it's wrong if a game is more attractive to, Kitty makes a good argument. SCA is more like cosplay.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. This is interesting that RPG is Dumb said this, because I got my Super Hot X to play with us twice. And even though it wasn't her domain at all, she was fantastic purely from IRL charisma. In real life.
In real life.
Social competence will make a great player. It'll make you good at the role acting part. It doesn't make you a great player, though. I think a portion of it's a great player, but that could be an argument.
That might be what a lot of people think, or when someone says great player, that might be what they mean.
And my wife,
someone who acts it up, hams it up.
Yeah, and it can be what you want. My wife didn't know the rules, didn't want to learn the rules when I was, dating her, and she completely loved it. Yeah, I'm not RPG. I'm not saying she wasn't good. I mean, that's cool. But yeah, if they don't care about the rules at all, I mean, you could argue whether this, hold on. What is this? Bruce says, big as he gets it, Randy, did you two grow up playing a lot of Micro Prose games?
It's computer games.
No, I'm not.
Micro Prose is a computer game company. Nope. Mm-mm. Can you name one? Maybe is that the D&D games? Were they Micro Prose? I can't remember.
Like the mud thing? You turn left.
No. Oh. No, more like Eye of the Beholder.
Oh, okay.
Like Sega or the early systems. I don't remember. But I know Micro Prose is a computer game company. Or was. I don't know. I don't think they are anymore.
Patty Spauer says, I think most of Professor DM's Dungeon Craft group, he has a group that's mostly female players. I've run an all-female group once. Remember when we had that all-day event at my house, Joe, and we had multiple sessions and stuff, and I had all ladies at the table. That was an interesting mix, but honestly, I didn't find it all that different. I thought I would, because we have players that are more girls that more want to kick butt and take names, some that want to explore and role play and act it up. So they're just like everybody else. They all have their jam, So
yeah. They're players.
Yeah.
Another myth about the players is they play in their mom's basement. I mean, some of us did, but the whole basement dwelling myth
would be great.
Yeah. They said it as if it was, an insult.
Sure.
So,
I mean, and now that's not true. You have games. I mean, well, now you can really say it's not true. They get Critical Role. It's bigger than some TV shows, bigger than a lot of TV shows.
Right.
And I think Oh, and my basement, we did play in the basement when I was just 4 or 5 years ago in my old house. And I have to admit, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And now
It's a
somebody
good
else,
space.
another one of our players has that house now, and it's still pretty sweet. Might be even better. So he said
Okay.
XCOM and Firaxis. I don't know what that is. Yeah, you guys talking computer games, that's cool, but that'll be a Joe thing. I don't.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't play any of that stuff. I mean, that was back in the day. Okay. Back in the day for us, there were where all the pinball machines were at. What was that place called? Arcade.
Yeah.
So there was the arcade, and then there was the Atari. Right. That's our back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was Microprose didn't. I mean, Atari was Atari. Atari made their own games. Atari and Commodore 64 had some games, I believe. Yeah. I mean, by the time this stuff came out, we were in college, I think.
Yeah.
Or just getting out of high school.
RPG is done, said he moved his game from the basement to the living room. The party ended up wanting to go back to the basement for the vibe. Yeah. And Ryan David says his is a finished basement. I think a basement's a great place to play because you get away from, if the house is kind of busy, anybody that's not playing can stay upstairs and downstairs. Like now I have a ranch. So, I've got a decent place to play, but if people are in the living room or in the kitchen, it can get noisy. Whereas the basement, it was great. So basements are kind of boss. Oh, David Will says he's going to host a convention in his house. That's pretty cool.
Oh, everybody is going to Dave's house.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Thanks, David. We don't have a basement, just an entirely separate office building that we could host a small convention in. I think he's saying he's trying to imply he wants to compete with GeekCon. So,
I don't think it's an implication. I think it's an outright competitive statement.
Being my best
gauntlet down.
David being my best friend now, I'm kind of offended that he would throw the gauntlet at me like that, but I understand.
Right at your face.
I know, just saying that's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay.
In the face.
Right in it. I feel deeply offended.
Now, this next myth that you have on here, smelly or stinky gamer.
Yeah,
it's not without its merit.
Well, I think it's just like the whole nerd thing.
It's more a stereotype than a myth.
Yeah.
Because I've heard people talk about at Gen Con having a whole section for all the stinky players.
I think it was 96 or 97. One of my first Ryan David, he said not a myth. And he's kicked people out from body odor. Okay. It was my first, second, or third Gen Con in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. We're just happy to be there. So I think it's my first full weekend I stayed. The first one I went to, I had 2 nights or a day and a half. Anyway, we're there, and those that have been to the Mecca know that there was a sloping passage down to sort of a basement area. It was massive, but for more gaming, and people would stay in that hallway, and some of them were spending the night there, and they were not showering, didn't have a hotel. There can be some serious gamer. Stinky funky, for sure. I don't know what it is. I know at Gen Con, I always thought people couldn't afford a hotel, so maybe they're just trying to hope they don't stink and go with deodorant. But man, by Saturday, no one wanted to walk down the ramp because it was a stink.
I mean, I think I don't know how that all works with age, but I think when we were younger, it was more of an issue than now that we are older. I think now that we are older, we're all like, "Hey, dude, take a shower or go away."
Yeah.
Because when we were younger, when the hobby was younger, most of us, the whole social awkwardness part of our existence, we were non-confrontational. Not you so much, but in general,
right.
The hobbyists were non-confrontational. Yep. Not so much these days, but back in the day, because we wanted more people to play.
Yeah.
But dang,
Yeah.
We should have definitely gate kept that part of the hobby.
Yeah. Rolling Bones. Hey, Ryan Howard's in the house. MTG has stinky players. Oh, he's highlighting what I want to talk about. That's a reason to call him the Pinkertons. Right on, dude. Yeah, Rolling Bones is in the house. Great podcast. You should and video YouTube thing. He's great. Check him out. So, yeah, I think that's not without its merit. I mean, everybody's got a story, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the last thing we have here under this heading. Oh no, there's two. How about we go with the one that's in the official one last, and I'm going to talk about something my wife brought up to me.
Oh, okay.
It goes along a little bit with Satanic Panic from the game itself.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, LARPing, doing DnD LARPing, which was a thing, or still a thing,
has been, still is, yeah.
Back in the day, was viewed as an excuse for certain types of people to make questionable underground meetings of a
nefarious sort.
More morally questionable, especially back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Well, essentially, she was saying
sexual stuff.
Yeah. In the gay sex.
Oh, in the gay arena. So it was.
Now she said she heard about it a lot.
Oh, I've never.
And I was like, and I couldn't remember. I can't remember ever hearing about that.
You know, it could be a local thing. It could be where she was at the time. Yeah, I don't know. That's something I've not heard. Bruce, Dick's Division, says he's battered people at a game store, then committed a war crime with making a Febreze cloud. Connell might have been to witness, and he knows Barry and G-Rock was there. Dude, I thought I could be a little aggressive. I mean, I come by my red hair naturally, but dude. Rolling Bones. He makes no bones about it.
LARPers are degenerates.
Oh, later, Ryan David. He's rolling out. He doesn't want to win that book you got.
Apparently.
Okay.
Maybe he already has it.
He probably does. He's got a collection to be admired by us all. Oh, that's right. Rolling Bones is going to have the professor tonight. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. Professor Dungeon Master.
Malachi says, I have heard that LARPing is a good way to get laid. Someone said something about that earlier with SCA, which is LARPing.
That might be that I would say is probably a myth that's got some truth to it, maybe. I mean, but I would still think you'd have to be a bit of a player. I mean, just because I dress up like a vampire don't mean chicks are going to sword me. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Boivan, here's another myth: the overweight gamer. Not at all. Not true. All of us are super svelte, and we can all run 3 miles under 12 minutes. I can run 12 minutes in under 3 miles. I can't.
You know, back when I was in high school, that would still be a challenge.
Yeah.
3 miles in 12 minutes, 4 minute miles.
That's a 4 minute. That's not svelte. That's elite.
That's elite.
Yeah.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
3 miles in a row. I used to do my 5K, which is a little over 3 miles in around 15 or less, which is pretty good. But
yeah.
All right. So the last part of this, the last point in this, the players myths about the players was we were non-inclusive. Kind of goes with the no girls allowed, which we already said is not true, but non-inclusive as in we actively pushed out people that were not white dudes, which is absolutely not true.
Not even remotely true. I'd play with anybody that I could get.
And the whole time we've been playing. I mean, there's, the world's a big place, so I'm sure there's some people somewhere that said, yeah, only white guys here at this table, but I never met any.
No. That's not a thing. And Gen Cons, I play with all sorts there. I think I told the story in college. At one point in my 5 or 6 player group, I was the only normal white guy. Cis. What is it?
There is
hetero.
No, cis is a stupid word. Just say normal.
That's
because it's true.
Well, I mean, in that case, it was true. So, yeah. But I mean, I didn't I go, oh my God, this dude likes dudes. I'm like, oh my God, you playing a wizard? Good. Roll the dice. Make a saving throw. And I don't get no one. I don't remember anyone caring at
We
all.
didn't care. Nobody cared.
That is full 100% a myth. If I like the people at my table,
And by nobody, I mean that everybody except a very vanishingly small percentage of people.
Yeah.
None of us cared.
Yeah. Yeah. Patrick's got it right. We were desperate for players. We took in Patrick Demo. We took in everybody, which is where we got all the weirdos we have today. Right on, because they are kind of weird. Yeah. Huh. Rambo said he was Mexican in a small town, turned away from a table because, wow. Okay. So there you go.
He was Mexican. What is he now?
Well, back when he was Mexican. But no, he said he got turned away.
To know.
So it happens. Rambler proves that it happens, but it's not the rule. So.
Right. So Patty says, this is what we did. This is what all of us did.
Yes.
I've never turned down anyone from my table that wasn't an a-hole.
Yeah.
That's the only people we didn't want around.
Yeah.
Folks that didn't get along with other people.
Yeah. If I didn't like you, you weren't playing. I wouldn't care what your predilection was, what the color of your skin was. Yeah. Yeah.
And now this next section, the haters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I could have put the white supremacy thing in here too, because the haters.
We have some stuff that's I'd kind of reordered that. I don't know if we go ahead, go Joe. I don't know if we still got the stuff to talk about.
Well, okay, you said kids game. Yeah, you said that already. Real gamers move. Yeah,
Sort
you did that. Hack and slash. Yeah, we did all that. We did all that.
Yeah. Well, like some gamers would say they moved on. That was my story. So yeah, we kind of covered that. I'd noticed I repeated myself. That's why I'd adjusted a little bit.
Right. So, any other myths from our chat here? We will gladly entertain. I think we have. There's probably more that we haven't included.
Right. Oh, there probably are. Oh, someone had mentioned one.
We had some starred comments up top too.
Yeah. Someone had mentioned one about disabled people not being welcome. That's in the inclusion thing. Of course they are. We have one in our group at CapCon. Have been for many years.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
We don't care.
That's not a thing. Why don't you tell them to do the things, man?
Yes, you all should do the things. Let me find the thing doing.
Well, while you're doing it, before you flash them, don't flash. Okay,
well,
too late. I was going to put Kitty's comment. She goes, she's never been turned away from a game for being a girl, but I've been treated differently because of being a girl. I kept getting hit on. Yeah, I agree. That can be a bit of a thing. That goes with the socially awkward weirdo stuff.
Or it just goes with men and women coexisting in the same space. Yeah. Men are going to hit on the women.
Yeah.
Because men are more aggressive. It's just going to happen. Maybe it shouldn't, but it's going to.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, I think. I mean, if you're
it should, and it's
if she asks, leave me alone, don't do that, you need to respect that.
Oh, yeah.
But then you're an a-hole and you shouldn't be playing. Right. I mean, it's one thing for somebody to hit on you and then you're like, hey, I'm not into it, move along.
Right.
But it's
and, honestly, you probably shouldn't be expecting it at a game table either.
No.
We're sitting down to play a game.
Right. She didn't come there to find a boyfriend.
Right. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not expecting. That's not an expectation anybody should have.
But, yeah, I've heard a lot of stories they say that happens. And I'm not poo-pooing Kitty's story, but I think some girls say it and it's not really true. That they claim that's what happened and it didn't. But I mean, it was kind of a boys' club, and I don't mean that like in the way other people would say it. I just mean it was mostly males.
Mostly guys.
When a girl show up, you're like, oh, who is this creature that has come to play D&D?
And when we were younger, I mean, right now most of us have girlfriends and wives, mostly wives,
right?
Because we're older. When we were younger, most of us didn't. So throw a girl into a bunch of us in a room full of single guys.
Right. Probably what happened. Patty's Parlor says Kitty's mad because she got 0 honey points from me as a DM with her being my player. Be gone, thought. You tell her, dude.
When she's at the table, she's just a player. All right. Now I'm going to say do the things.
Yes.
If you have not yet if you are watching this show and you haven't subscribed yet, why the hell not? Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Hit the thumbs up, the bell notification. Make sure you're reminded when we go live once a week. It shouldn't be that hard to figure it out anyway. But hit that notification bell, because we have busy lives. You need some notifications in your life.
A couple good comments. Patrick, I don't know. He said, it's really weird when I watch my wife get hit on while I'm sitting right at the table. Yeah, it could happen. Ryan Howard says, considering how many gamers fall somewhere in the spectrum, no disabled people would eliminate 75% of your pool. Oh, that's a good one, Bruce.
Oh, myth. Playing anything but the newest edition of the world's most popular game is a crime against Gary. There's at least one person that several of us know about that has said that, to all of our consternation and head scratching.
I can't help.
Nobody but that one person, I think, believes that.
About once a month, I have to peek on his page, and I can watch him for about 3 seconds. Dude is like, he's lost, man. His mind is out of it.
Yeah, he has some mental illness.
But
he's probably got it. His mental illness is in his Twitter bio.
Yeah. Kitty says, I think what happens, this is about with girls at the table. As soon as a girl seems interested in gaming, the guys around there get excited that a girl is interested in the same thing they are. Yeah, and I think they're hoping because they might have a connection with you. I mean, I think there's probably a degree of innocence there. Well, they're not trying to make your life miserable, but there's probably some that are just douchebags.
So Kitty also says Patrick, because Patrick has a wife who plays.
Right.
Patrick, you and Patty have a lot in common then. Oh. So, and because Patrick was lamenting that people hit on his wife while he's right there next to her at the game table, which is weird.
Which is weird because it won't take you about 3 minutes to realize they're married. So
right.
That's not creepy. That might be a reason to pull out the Febreze and stick it up that guy's nose hole.
If not a knuckle sandwich.
Yeah.
Right.
God, Bruce is on fire tonight. At Rolling Bones, are we talking about VA disability or an actual disability one is born with, like being an idiot? There seems to be a lot of those. Yeah. Caress the like button with your rumbling. Man.
Didn't you star some comments?
Yeah, it was about. Did you hear about the Magic
unrelated?
the Gathering thing? Did you hear about Magic the Gathering thing?
No.
It's around 7 something. Several good comments. Let me get back up to those. Around 7-ish, 8-ish. Oh, come on. Is there a place where the stars are just collected at? Oh, starred. Duh. Okay. I'm so stupid. Flady1 says, anyone see Watsy? This was way back when, 754. Anyone see Watsy sent goons to Magic Player's house? Let me read them all. Full Metal Dragon says, hey, Randy, you should hide that book of Watsy. That book, or Watsy will send the Pinkertons after you like they did the Magic YouTuber. Yep. And Rambler says, myth, the game is not accessible. Oh, that's a different thing. We talked about this. And then Patrick made the comment, yes, Watsy sent a private security company to perform an illegal search and seizure against a private citizen. And they got away with it?
Okay. If that person let them into their house,
yeah,
then that person should get smacked upside the head, because you don't get in my house just saying, hey, we're from Watsy. And now if they were pretending to be police, you still should say, everyone should say, you need to have a warrant to come in here. You're not coming in my house without a warrant, is what you should say.
Yeah. But I don't know how they could get in there. I mean, it was like, did he have some like early release cards? I mean, what was the whole thing about? I can't seem to shut that one off, Joe. I think I hit the unstar and I got to find it now. He found it good. Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened with all that stuff. Oh, Patrick says the guy's wife let them in. She just answered the door and let him in. But here's the question. I didn't catch it. So he had magic cards, right? That hadn't been. Oh, here it goes. Malachi.
There's a Kotaku story here.
Yeah. The guy had Magic the Gathering cards before they were released. They pretty much strong-armed him into contacting WotC and had to give them up. How did he get them before they were released? How does that happen? Was he an owner of a store or something? That's weird.
A YouTuber known as blah, 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 because no one should care, claimed that he was shooting videos on Saturday morning when Pinkerton agents, actual Pinkerton agents, I thought they were kidding. Because Pinkerton's been around since for like 100 years or more.
They're still a thing?
They said Pinkerton's. Okay. His dog started barking. His wife answered the door. They came knocking at the door to recover the stolen product for Wizards of the Coast, which was March of the Machine Aftermath stuff. And then they go into some legalities. Wow. Here's a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. No one comes into your house without a warrant. That's it.
I can't read this, but Bruce is killing me. Someone get Randy a disabled tag. I think he's effing blind. It's like,
what did you do?
Because I couldn't find. What happened is I unstarred Malachi without clicking his comment off, and so then I had to hunt it down.
Okay, so let me tell you something. When you scroll down past it, a little window, a little bubble pops up at the top of the window to the right where the comments are at that says hide starred or hide displayed comment. Oh, so that's how I found it. I didn't have to do any scrolling. It was just a little thing.
Okay.
So just to let you know.
He was showing off the sale date, he said. Darth said he had some cards he was showing. Oh, sorry.
I don't think it was while they were live streaming. What did you do that for?
I don't know.
Why did you do that?
I was an accident. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy. Too much power. Take it away, Joe.
Too much power. So Kitty asks on live. I don't think it was I don't think they were live unless she's talking about something else.
Yeah. Malachi says from what he had read. Oh, Mr. Bob Ann. That is shocking.
Mr. Max says he had magic cards and a wife. Mind blown.
Okay,
my wife wouldn't have let anybody in our house.
Hold on for a second. So let me read these two if I can not screw it up. Malachi said, from what I read, Randy, he got them from his FLGS, who got them from a distributor, who got it from WotC. It was on WotC's end. Okay, that sounds like it's a them problem. And then Patrick said, yeah, not stolen, sent by mistake. If it were stolen merchandise, it should have been handled by police. I guess they can do that? I mean, if someone sends you something by mistake through the mail, can they come take it back?
Well, they can ask for it back.
Correct. And you can give them the middle finger.
You can. I mean, if you have something you didn't order, and they ask for it back, you probably should give it back.
I agree morally.
If you didn't pay for it. If you didn't pay for it.
I fully agree with that morally. I'm just saying technically you don't have to.
Technically you don't. Well, you don't have to because, I mean, especially if they sent you something worth $30 or $40 or $50, are they really going to pay the cost of having someone come put a gun against your head to give me that thing? I mean, it costs more to do that.
Arnman says something very important. Pinkertons report back that they arrived at Joe's house and a giant squirrel answered the door.
And told them to go F off and come back when they have a effing warrant. You effing F heads is what she would say.
Dude.
Lots of F's would be coming out of her mouth.
Knowing her, it wouldn't just be F. It would be the full Monty.
Yeah.
Complete deal. Well, hey, man, do you want to give some stuff away?
Sure. Let me show you what you're going to get.
Yes. You people that are chatting us up are about to get some free crap.
You're going to get this.
A box.
A box.
It's very exciting.
What you're really going to get, you're going to get that.
You're going to get Joe's shirt.
My shirt. I'm trying to find my copy of it.
Oh, come on, dude. I'm getting my dice ready.
I'm going to show them what they have won.
The real long shot says it's a nice box though, and he wouldn't mind getting it. And Patriot Hobby says he loves boxes, so we'll give them a +1 on the roll. Not that it matters.
It is the Index Card RPG Master Edition soft cover.
Cool.
I don't have my copy of it handy, so I can show the people. Maybe that's it. No. Oh well, it's buried under stuff right now. Anyway, it's in the box. It has not been opened. That's why I'm showing you the box. It has not been opened. So I will just cover this label, which is my address label, with a label showing who's ever the winner. And then you will get an unopened box. So that being said, if you open the box and it's something weird, it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
But we will make sure we make it right. If it's not what we say it is.
Kitty
it should be.
Kitty asked, is there a cat inside? And her hubby said, is there a dead cat inside? And I replied, yes and no.
If there were a cat inside, it would be dead.
Or it wouldn't be dead.
Or it wouldn't be. According to Schrodinger.
That's 100%. That's 100% would be the case. That it would actually, it is there and not there.
No.
Correct. You love it. All right. So are you going to count?
I will say no to that. That is stupid.
But it's beautiful, beautiful logic.
What that really says is if you can't observe it. If there was a cat in here, we would know.
We would.
Because it would be scratching the box to get out.
And then it would scratch Joe when it got out for daring to do that to him.
Right.
So, but your dogs would go crazy and probably eat it. Are your dogs, Sparky, is he still inclined to go after kitty cats?
If it runs.
He must have
because it'll set off his prey drive, but he might not be able to catch it because he's an older dog now.
Yeah, they go like that too.
He'll take a couple of steps and say, oh, okay, whatever, you're ahead of me now.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to somehow figure out how many folks we got in here. That is,
once you add them up.
Well, according to my little eyeball here, we have 18. 16 in YouTube and 2 over in the other place.
Okay. Kitty said we have 16. Do you have them in order so I can just roll? I got a D16.
Well, we have 18 actually. We have a couple over.
I have a D18 too, baby.
Okay. Why don't you do that? And I'll just count. Twitch. There's 2 on Twitch.
So you got them in order.
Hold on. The real long shot said he will pop off of Twitch, so he's not double dipping.
Okay.
Double dipper.
I got a D18.
So
I don't lie.
It'll end up being 17.
D18.
Yeah, it'll end up being 17 because one of the 2 that's in Twitch.
It's got a D17.
Okay. All right.
Okay. You ready?
Go for it.
This is the winner is number 16.
Okay, 16. So I will count.
I have a D6. I have a D17, dude.
So that will be hard to figure out.
Just go down the list. Is there a list in order?
Okay. There is a list of comments, but there's not a list of. There's not a list of.
So you're saying we screwed that up?
Yeah. So we need to
shoot.
I know that there is some sort of tool for that. Random YouTube 5.
Okay, you're watching this be dumb. Look at this. This is awesome. We're so stupid. So number 16, whoever you were, you got host. Patrick says if it's him, re-roll it. He doesn't want to be a part of this mess. He can't be a part
of it. I think the way this this isn't the live comments though. I think you have to pick a comment from a comment list that is in a non-live format.
Oh.
So the way we used to do this is make everybody send an email into our Biggest Geekest podcast.
You hush, you Canadian.
Yes. What we used to do is have a list of folks who have subscribed or sent us an email to our Biggest Geekest podcast, the geeks at, and then we would just, they are in order because they are individual. And then Randy would roll and I would just go down the line. The comment, there's a comment picker, but it's not for live comments, is it?
Look, Kitty has a good idea. She said, it'll take a second. Let everyone sound off, pick a number. Patriot Hobby has number 1. So, and go ahead and do it and just stick with it, and then I'll roll. So everybody, just pick a number. Pick a number.
Pick a number. If someone's already picked it when you've picked it, then pick another. Pick a winner.
Okay. RPG Dumb is 8. I'll read them. No, I'm probably delayed, so not. Okay, we got different numbers. I haven't seen a repeat yet. Bobette's taking 16 because he thinks I'm going to give that to him, but he's not. He's crazy. So we got a 17. We got a 0. Okay. 11. I'll probably roll a D20 because I think we're going to get some crazy numbers. Legion Myth got 3. 42 from Malachi. He doesn't want that book, he says. Kitty got 7. Powder Puff. Oh, 69. Okay. Darth Thick's got 3.
Did Powder Puff Nerd put it up a number?
69. We're not going to get that.
69. We already have the book, weirdo.
Patrick picked 0. Somebody else picks. Yeah, I'm going to roll D20.
Yeah, 0 is not appearing on the die. So pick a number.
Going against everybody.
We're going to give you another minute.
Yeah.
And then once that minute is done, then we will roll. And if you haven't got a number in, that means you don't want it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
That will stay in the comment stream.
Picking a number is not inclusive, says Cal. He feels.
Correct.
He feels.
It's ableist.
Yes, because he's not able. Oh, Duncan's got 8. Yeah, Duncan, you got to pick another one. RPG is Dumb has 8. Duncan, you got to pick another one, dude.
Yes, math is racist. It's actually rooted in white supremacy.
Duncan,
according
Bradley,
to somebody who doesn't know anything about math.
Something besides 8. RPG is Dumb already has it. Otherwise, it's going to be a fight in the arena of death. If I knew where that arena was, you'd be in trouble.
All right.
Duncan's got 4. Anybody complaining? I think we're going to do
Bruce
this.
does not want the book.
Okay. I hope I roll his number. Damn, R4 sounds good. I think RPG is Dumb wants to fight. I used to be
all right.
That's good. Okay, can I roll?
All right. Roll.
I'm rolling. 17.
Let's see. I don't know if anybody picked 17.
I feel like
you, Big Bad RPG.
Big Bad RPG. All right, dude. He's the winner. Chicken dinner.
All right. Big Bad RPG is the winner. Does Big Bad RPG is he on? Are you on? Are you on Discord? Are you part of our Discord? If not, I will just put up an email for you to.
On our Discord. TY, what does that mean?
Thank you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he won. All right, sweet. So Joe is going to give you that book. He's going to contact you on Discord. I think he's on. Are you on? Yeah, he said yes, sir. He is on Discord. Is he on our Discord?
Yeah. He's on Twitter too. So send Volsivar in our Discord. Your private message me over there. Your mailing address, so I can get that to you.
And Joe works for the post office, so you're going to get it, dude. He's going to message me. Big Bad says.
Oh, fine. Message Randy.
Look, I'm the talent. I draw people to me. I can't help it, Joe. Don't be mad. Don't be a hater. Big Bad will message me. I'll get it to you. He'll tell me. I'll tell you. He won't deign to talk to you directly, Joe. He's too far above you. Just accept.
He just private messaged me in Discord. Why can't?
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Randy, you got to stop threatening people with bodily violence.
That RPG is dumb. He's looking to having a big cage match with somebody. All right. That's cool. Congratulations, man.
Yes, congratulations, Big Bad. You're going to get a brand new, never seen the light of day except at the factory
Right.
book. So never touched by my hand, which is probably
Rolling
probably a good
dice.
thing.
Rolling dice.
Okay.
Help.
Okay, so we need to put it on our to-do list, Randy.
Yes.
What did you throw your dice on the floor?
I did, and I'm like throwing them everywhere.
We need to have a better strategy worked out for our
Yeah.
contest.
In the future, let's actually meet before we have a podcast or a show.
I tried.
Oh, shut up. You were late.
Yeah, and then as soon as I sat down, you went away
I was
until the
offended.
last,
I was
the
deeply
last
offended. I was
second.
deeply offended. All right, cool. Shall we do our last segment and then our last segment again? Because I labeled them both number 3.
Why did you do that?
Dude, I did. My numbering game was off. You know, calculus and algebra is fine, but numbering stuff is too hard.
Yeah, because it's 136.
Kitty's saying, so what you're saying is if the pages are sticky, it's not your fault. She got it. All right.
All right. So we're going to do our next segment here. And hey, if you haven't, hold on. If you haven't yet subscribed, I don't know what's wrong with you because this is entertainment. I'm telling you.
This is more fun than a barrel of monkeys.
It is. Subscribe, do all the things.
We give stuff away with no plan whatsoever.
No plan.
Who wants this? Who wants this?
If you want to support our show, links will be in the show notes. I didn't put any show notes up for last week because I'm a dirt bag, but I will get them out along with this week's show notes, and you will have lots of linkage to help us outage.
Yes. We like linkage.
All right. Our next topic is quick hit. It's just a rapid fire topic.
Yeah.
TPKs.
Yes.
Total party kills. Yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay.
All the time.
All the time. The possibility of TPK shouldn't be necessarily off the table. It
Right.
should be something that can happen because it can happen. It's part of the game. No one should be crying about it.
Some people who play wrong believe that opposite, that there shouldn't be a chance of a TPK. Heck, they believe no one should even die.
Yes, there are folks that have gone on the record, so to speak, on the interwebs and have said that if someone dies in their game, they have made a mistake. Somewhere along the line, they have made a mistake.
Yeah, the mistake is you should have killed them all the first round. Why did it take you 3 rounds to kill them all? Yeah. Does the campaign have to end when that happens, dude? Is it over? TPK over, new game?
It can be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you make up a whole set of brand new characters, is it a new campaign or is it the same campaign, just different characters? You could just say the whole new set of characters makes it a new campaign, but set in the same setting.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally the same town. Doing the same stuff. I mean, you could literally put them in there. I mean, it's a classic, right? If you're playing D&D, you go to the dungeon and your group gets killed. There could be another group who are your buddies or who just want to know what happened to these dudes. They were checking out the evil elemental, the evil temple of elemental evil. Let's go check it. The evil temple of elemental evil. That was good.
There's an old, I don't know if it was just a comic strip in Dragon Magazine at the time or if it was its own comic at the time. Can't remember the name of it, but essentially everybody kind of fell off, got killed, kind of one at a time. And that wasn't a TPK, but it was a comic strip about it was about a group of fantasy characters, but it was very gamey, right? There was a lot of game elements mixed into the storytelling of the comic strip, and someone died, and then you've seen a new version of this character in the background moving forward, and would come and join as they were doing things.
Is this the Gamers movie? The movie?
No, it's similar. It's a similar setup, and it's not Nodwick, but it's a related. It's a related. It's a related comic, but it's not. I don't think it's Nodwick.
Right.
Anyway, but it just the comic took it in stride when characters died. Sometimes just having a new version, you know how you used to just erase the name off of your character sheet and put a new name on there, and you erased it so many times that there's now a hole in your piece of paper, and you had to put a piece of tape over it. Back in the day.
Yeah. Patrick's hurting my feelings, Joe. This isn't it. Right here. He says like a banshee in a box. I can't believe it.
Very near TPK.
There was a pile of dead bodies, though.
Pile of dead bodies.
That was bad.
But yeah, TPKs and character death is part of our hobby. Not just D&D, but all these games that we play. And
should you ever set up an encounter? And I don't mean like force them in the encounter, but have an encounter that is a TPK waiting to happen.
As in the characters or the players or both should know not to do anything.
There's an ancient vampire in this dungeon of orcs. He's been in torpor, sleep for a long time. And they don't mess with him because they ain't stupid.
Right.
Players are
stupid.
stupid.
You might roll in there and kick the top of that casket off and throw down with a master vampire that's going to have both of his hands tied behind his back and still kill everybody in the party.
That's right. I mean,
by his mere presence.
To use some language that Bruce will appreciate, your party is APL 3, and they come against a vampire that's CR 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lights out, bro. You're not winning. You can't win. You got nothing. Is that unfair for that to exist in the adventuring area?
Oh, by some definitions, sure. But fairness is not a word we should really use in our hobby.
Yeah.
Because what you find while adventuring might not be something that you can take out. You might have to run. You might have to negotiate. You might have to kiss some evil vampire's naked butt to make it out of the dungeon alive, or leave all your magic items behind, or something.
I've done that to you guys. That's how I got your magic items. Yeah, you can leave all your crap. Malachi says, as long as there are clues. I agree as a DM. That's just my innate sense of fairness. You should have clues that, this is a vampire. Yes, there should be some encounters that are guaranteed to kill the party, says Darth Theik. The party should recognize this and avoid it. So you're expecting, now, if they're not an experienced dude, Kitty is like totally winning brownie points with me tonight. All is fair in love and D&D. Right on, sister.
So if you roll into a crypt as a third level party, and hey, here's a coffin that is locked closed, even if there's no here be a vampire, but a vampire's crypt, his coffin is likely not going to be just some plain Jane piece of wooden box. A third level party should be wary when they are
could be
in a graveyard tomb type area.
And a couple of skeletal warriors maybe guarding his tomb. And if they're kicking your butt, maybe that'd be kind of like keeping them from getting in there. Patrick brings an interesting point that's kind of digression, but I still like it. Isn't the whole concept of game balance just to cry for help? I mean, to cry for fairness.
It's a myth that I forgot to put in our myth section.
It is a myth. Game balance is a myth.
Balance is a myth. If you're trying to balance everything and make sure that players have appropriate encounters for their level all the time, I think you're playing the game wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we played the crap out of third edition, and it encouraged that sort of play. First, as a DM, it's tedious as hell. I'm not, and after, now granted, I've got my own scheme and I could get a good feel for it. Secondly, well, this is dumb. Ari Rejoice 85 played in a game once where our DM killed us all because he wanted to be a player character in a different game. Yeah, that's weak sauce. Yeah, you just don't. Yeah, Patrick, it's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I think Bruce has got a good point too. Says having the players find it in slumber is all right. If the players disturb it and get their asses vamped, they deserve to die. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think what would be unreasonable. Well, what would probably piss players off.
Flady says, when you knock, the GM must answer land shark.
Love that, dude. You're like, boom, land sharks.
This used to be, if I don't think it is now, but used to be Randy's favorite monster.
It's a top one. I'm not going to put it in the list because it just I don't know. You know what? We can't do a monster mash about land sharks, I don't think, but they're pretty cool.
It's one of those aberrations.
Yeah.
Is it land shark an aberration?
I'm not sure technically if they are. I think they might be a magical beast. I don't know. Yeah, we recall that. But my point was, I think this is kind of to Bruce's point. I think most players would revolt if, like, at least consistently, you're tromping through the wilderness and you're in a dungeon and you turn the corner and here's a dragon and your first level and it's like a great red worm and it's angry as hell and just attacks you. Breathes, like sticks it, you open the door and it breathes down the hallway. I mean, if that's something that happens without any kind of rhyme or reason, that could be a little bit. It doesn't have to be. I mean, you could have a random encounter where you could have a super deadly monster. That's possible. But if it's always seeming like you can't get out of it and you turn the corner, that would be.
Well, there's a difference from the occasional hold on to your butts, guys.
Right.
And then every other encounter is with the Archlich. I mean, then you have a DM that needs to get his nuts handed to him, or at least invited to not DM anymore.
Right. I agree, long shot. That would be he goes, that better be a damn big dungeon. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it is a little extreme, sure. I agree, Darth. My point is, I think there is a point where you could overblow that, but in general, I think it's great to I mean, I always bring up the comment in the Lord of the Rings movie, once you leave your door, Frodo Baggins, who knows what's going to happen. I think the wilderness should be a dangerous place. I think adventuring should be dangerous. And, if you're not purposely just trying to kill your players for like glee, I mean, that's all right. Big Bad RPG, this is interesting. A one-shot designed around the parties getting TPK'd could be a cool start and a way to generate a very interesting backstory for the group. I actually did a one-shot where the players started being resurrected. Remember that, Joe, at Cabin Con?
Yeah.
They actually began as resurrected heroes. They were brought back to deal with a villain that they had defeated before in their life, like many centuries before. That was kind of fun. And of course, the clerics wanted to put them back in the box once they accomplished their mission. They weren't so keen on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an exception, and all of these things have exceptions, is right here. One. This is one. I did, Patty's Parlor says, I did have a DM misread a rule that killed 3 players. That felt bad. Yeah. So if a misinterpretation or a misreading or a misapplied rule, some faulty ruling gets your party killed, and it's the DM's quote unquote fault, then that's bad. That's not what should happen, but and that's an exception to this what we're saying here, that the TPK isn't something that you should just overrule and say it's not happening.
I think you could retcon that if you wanted to, or ask the group, do you care to retcon? You want to just keep going?
Yeah.
I also think a TPK is not something you should. I think it's fine to, like, if I want to have a really awesome creature, I will absolutely warn you guys about it. I mean, people talk about, there's a giant wyvern flying through this forest, coming in town periodically and grabbing cattle. You're like, we're like first level, dude. Like, yeah, be careful if you're going out to the graveyard or whatever. You can never tell. And so that would basically tell the players, look, there is a chance, however small, this wyvern could show up, and you better think about running.
Right. So I think a good DM and good player. So the good DM will throw in some breadcrumbs and throw in some clues about the environment that the players are in, but it's also incumbent to the players to ask questions
Yes.
and talk and have their characters talk to people and find out what's going on, not just walk around and like a bunch of noobs not know anything, and then that wyvern comes and sticks its tail in everybody's face.
Garth makes another good point. I do not try and kill my players, but I make it a point. Yeah, hopefully not, but the players' characters you should. But I make it a point that if you do something stupid and your PC dies, that's on you and not me. Yeah, and if honestly, if the dice are against you one night,
that's just the way the game is.
The game.
The dice can betray you, and that's part of the game, and you should just learn to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or not. Some people like to fudge dice. That's on them. I don't recommend it.
I have no interest in fudging dice at all.
Right.
I used to be I was a teensy bit of a fudger back in the day. Yeah, he got inspired. A good system will warn players. I think a good DM will warn players. A new system could be a challenge for a TPK. If I'm sitting down to play Shadowrun, which I know little to nothing about, I've played a few times, I may not know. Like I could run into a creature and encounter that I think, I'm a pretty tough little troll, what are they called? Samurai, street samurai. I'll go fight. Yeah, Martinson says, like the first encounter with venomous snakes. Yeah, in our OSE game, Martinson's character, dead. I mean, I don't think he got to roll one attack roll. He was bitten and died. Old school D&D, save or die. So
yeah, they win initiative. They go before you do. You get bit, you fail your save, and you die.
Yeah.
That's just the way it can go sometimes.
And Rejoice85 makes a good point. And that's why dice that betray you get launched into the lake. That's correct. There will be dice in the lake this year. Guaranteed. Have been for the last several years.
Yep. It happens. And the thing is, if your character dies, what the impact is you need a new character.
That is the impact.
That is the only impact. If your tears are flowing or your day is ruined, well, that's kind of on you. I'm not going to tell you.
You could be a little disappointed. It doesn't have to be like, it didn't affect me at all. I mean, if you're playing a 16th level wizard and you fail one save against the Banshee, you'd be like, oh man, I was really liking that dude.
Yeah.
Where are the character sheets at? I mean, that's what it'd be like,
I mean, especially if it's a one shot. If you're running a one shot and you getting pissed off because your character dies and you go home and take all your stuff with you and you don't want to play anymore, then you're a weirdo. Well, I guess we're all weirdos, but that's strange. We should be adults. If your character dies, just make a new character.
Yeah. Bruce makes a good point. And a lot of players running is an option.
Well, to be fair, the snake encounter.
Yeah, it was not a running option, really.
There was no option because they won initiative, I guess.
Well, they won first. They scared. You guys are going. It was one of the random encounters that just one of your horses happened to run upon a nest of those vipers, and so you could have run, but then we rolled initiative and they got it. So I mean, it wouldn't
have mattered if you said we're going to run on our initiative,
right? It wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Now, should D20 games like Dungeons and Dragons offer a we're going to run option and not even roll initiative?
13th Age does that. I don't fully hate that. It's called a what is it called? A
retreat.
A retreat, but you get what's called a campaign loss. So they suggest you punish the players for that in some way. But their example is, let's say you're going to stop this ritual where a princess is about to be sacrificed to some demons, and the guard demons kick your face in, and you decide to flee. Well, if you flee, the campaign loss is princess dies.
Well, you don't have to codify it in that way. That's just should be the natural result of that particular. If you have to run when you're trying to save the princess, you haven't saved the princess. However, if it's a random encounter and you run from the random encounter, what is the ramification of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
maybe there could be a delay in where you're going to do that, but that would be it, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Kitty says a good comment. She goes, having my characters die allowed me to try different play styles. Sure. And different characters. I mean, if you're playing a game where there's like tons of combinations in D&D, like in, 5e or Pathfinder where there's a boatload, that's just a chance to play a new character. Yes, correct, Mr. Boivan. Encounters
Not usually
start. That was a rare thing. I just had it written on my sheet as my random encounter table as they stirred up a nest of vipers. That was probably pretty harsh, but I mean, I had to roll the encounter. I mean, I didn't pick it, So I rolled the dice. Is there an encounter? Yes. Then I rolled on my table. Oh crap!
You chose to use the table that had that encounter in it, though.
No, I built it. By the way.
So you built that encounter on purpose to kill
that
people.
Encounter is in my adventure that I'm going to be selling.
So there's the potential for that thing. But that gives your world a little more heft, a little more reality or verisimilitude, because that's what can happen in real life too. You can just happen upon a dangerous situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference between that and there being a trap there and you fall into a pit and die. There's not a whole lot of difference functionally in that.
Yeah. Miss Lady gives me a good counter on the princess thing. He says, if your character is dead, the princess ain't going to get saved either. Yeah, that's true. But if you flee just because, I think the point is if players give up because they're feeling like, oh my God, it's too dangerous. Let's say the demons step out and you fight the first vanguard of demons and the first one rolls a crit. You take a heavy hit. Yeah, I think that's kind of weak, but some players do that. Lee says, should the DM kind of, I don't know what he means.
Should the DM do a kind of fog of war or field of view?
Not just
popping into encounters at point blank.
Correct.
Well, it depends. Most encounters aren't going to be in the face.
Right.
But some might.
Yeah. Like I said, that was just a situation where I put it on a table, a rather large table, as what could happen? Well, you're trotting along on a path, you might, or even through the woods, you might rustle up a couple of snakes, So yeah, it might have been harsh. What's that?
So Mr. Max says, now I want to run a game where the party has to retrieve a princess that is trying to be a girl boss and bring her back to the castle to be confined.
Right on. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I think the moral of the story is we're getting much farther than a quick hit and a hard target. You should have TPKs because they're fun.
They're part of the game. It's something that can happen, and you shouldn't be scared of results that end that way, because all you have to do is make new characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we need to say anything else about that? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think we're good.
TPK.
Every day.
Yes. Yay to TPK.
Yay to TPK. All right.
All right. We're getting into some big geek land now.
Yeah, we are. Halcyon H is in the house now. Hope you've been listening.
Hey, Halcyon, you missed the giveaway. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you could have won a sweet prize.
We did the giveaway already.
So, what's up
Big Geek Con? Spill the beans.
Big Geek Con.
Everybody's been waiting for the Big Geek Con news.
Yeah.
So now go. The news is this. It's happening. September 22nd, 23rd, Friday and Saturday. You will pay $30 to get in this place. They had a maybe Big Bad RPG. He said Big Geek Con t-shirts, maybe. We had the lady that I had made deals with before left to another hotel, and I couldn't contact her for 2 weeks. But the new one gave me an even better deal. So we may have this really large ballroom for a decent price. Good deal.
The double queens are now only 126 instead of 144. They offers a couple other bonuses that are pretty nice. So we may even have drinks to be able to be sold there for hopefully not too expensive, and a place to keep them, a cooler to keep them in. 2 days. She's very excited about it. She doesn't know much about conventions. She goes, it sounds really interesting. She goes, how do you play this game without a computer? So we got talking, but I don't, and I don't have to put the down payment on at all.
That's awesome.
But I do have to cancel 24 hours before if it doesn't happen. So
that's also awesome.
That is super awesome. I first thought she said, you have 24 hours to decide. And I'm like, that's not very good. And that was all or nothing, but very nice. So it's happening. We got to get our people together to help us make this happen. It is the 22nd, 23rd. If I can get 10 or more people to stay in the hotel, I will get about a half price discount. So that would help Biggest Geekus if you could do that. So there is a Uno's attached to the hotel. Martinson's going to be getting the list of restaurants nearby. But just 2 days, we planned a game. They said we could start as early as we wanted on Friday and basically end, I think, just about as late as we wanted to go on Saturday. I think, but I'm not sure. I got to check the late part, but the early is good. Yes, there is a hotel. The hotel is, and we're going to post this somewhere. I don't know where we said the 4 Points. The 4 Points by Sheraton. If you would like, I could type it into the comments, I guess. So
what we're going to do at some point is have a page either on Biggest Geekus podcast or on Big Geek Emporium with all the details. Mm-hmm. We're also going to sell the tickets on Big Geek Emporium at some point, hopefully very soon. I'm going to get our devs on that ASAP.
Excellent.
And we also have to make sure that the ticket is something that you can either print out or have on your phone that you can show us so that we know you are supposed to be there. This will be our first time doing this.
Yeah, the con thing, I'm excited. The actual gaming will be fun. Book those rooms. It will really help out. There's the location. Just mention Big Geek Con and you'll get the discount. Bros. OMG, I'm sorry, Randy. Your princess is in another castle. This one we replaced her with is a big titty goth girl. Please accept our apologies. That's kind of what happened. The lady that I had to deal with disappeared. We're sorry she's not here. You get a better deal. And I was like, yeah. And I just got the contract today, so I'm going to sign that tomorrow morning. And it's happening, baby. And so yeah, she was excited. She didn't know much about con. She's a big game player. She goes, now when Martinson went with me there, there's 2 workers there that love D&D. And one guy was like, dude, could I play Magic and stuff there? I said, you play whatever you want. You don't just play my games. So, oh, wow. Flatey says he has a small collection of package of items you guys can give away as prizes. Prizes is an idea. That's a good idea. I have a package of gaming material I want to give away, so we may have some prizes too.
Yeah, we can do door prizes. All we need is a roll of tickets. Everyone can get a ticket, and then whoever gets drawn will get a door prize. Yeah, we can do something like that.
We can go old school Gen Con. I don't know if other conventions did it. When I went to Gen Con back in the 90s, we would often get a prize from TSR. DMs would be given discount of the TSR. The old castle was where they sold the TSR stuff, and if you were voted the best role player at the table by the group, you would get a discount on something. Yes, RPG is done. Bruce is
one moment. Point of order.
Yes.
Is Flatey saying he has a small package? Because that's not an admission any dude can give in public.
He said a small collection package.
Okay. Oh, my bad.
LCNH says another great idea. I think there has to be a werewolf game. Maybe after hours, we'll get our buddy Philip and me. We will run a big werewolf game for folks that are there. We at Cabin Con tend to like werewolf. We play that usually once.
Table play prizes.
Yeah, there used to be table play prizes like best role player, person with the coolest idea. And it used to be like this because I DM'd at Gen Con. Every player would vote once. And then the DM would get 2 votes, and that person would get the prize. Think legacy. Lady, we're not going to read that, dude, because we love you. We don't believe it.
No.
We believe the opposite.
Hey, Legacy.
Master speaking some German. Guten Abend. Alesi. I don't know what that one is.
I don't know how to pronounce that either.
Yeah. Yes, you do, Legacy. This is a sweet. I got this for like $5 a couple years ago. This Castles of the Crusades. And it's got their symbol on the back. It's kind of a sweet t-shirt. Yeah. So Legacy, come to Michigan, Saginaw, September 22nd, 23rd. I may
There was a
shirt mid DMing because I'll be on fire DMing like into it. I need a new shirt, Joe. Swim it up and you can steal it.
You should not take off your shirt in public.
I might. I may do
Bad
that.
idea. Bad idea.
I know it's true.
Public nudity is a bad idea.
I'm not just
Shame on you.
There could be women and children there, and that would probably not.
Yeah. Someone mentioned t-shirts earlier. I'll tell you what, if we get enough people coming, we may be able to throw in t-shirts, but we won't be able to offer t-shirts in addition to the third. If we're only charging $30, we won't be able to throw in t-shirts with that unless they're really cheap t-shirts that you wouldn't want to have anyway. Or we can get a really good bulk discount. So if we can get enough people coming, we might be able to throw in t-shirts. But if we only get like the minimum amount of people, t-shirts will have to be, bought.
Probably have to. I think we'll end up having to purchase them. Legacy says he's just cheap enough to steal it from me. All right, brother. Bruce says he needs an address, I guess, to send us. He'll be happy to send things I don't need. He means consolation prizes. Sorry.
I mean, consolation as you're going to send prizes here instead of you.
I know. Hey, Bruce has been good to us. He's already gifted one ticket to some lucky person. So no, Big Bad says he meant sell them for people that can't go to support.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea. If you can't,
we'll just need to figure out a design.
Yeah, and I want to buy a few shirts for the people that help us out.
No, I'm not. I'm scratching the extremely hairy chest that I have underneath this T-shirt.
Halcyon H asks, will there be a formal sign for games people want to run? Yes, there will be slots. You look, Joe knows I am I'm not the organization master, but I like my games and game slots to be set right. So Randy will have a time slot for every second of the day. You will be doing something. Or you'll have the opportunity to do something.
It's not the setup will not likely be very sophisticated on the site, on the page for this.
Right.
It will likely be text based and be a lot of emails going back and forth to get everything set up. So,
and at the games, I'm probably not. I mean, I don't know if I want to put the games out on the website. I think I'd rather just people show up and we have a sign up page. Have the games there. You show up, you sign up. Because once you buy the badge, which we're thinking $30 will be good for the 2 days, you just come sign up for something. So, yeah, that's the plan. So I think that's mostly it.
So,
Get
Geek Con, September 22nd and 23rd.
Yep.
Website tickets to be sold sometime in the future, hopefully within the next month.
Yep. And please, as Patrick said, please reserve a room to cheapen the costs. Yeah. She said, and she even said, she goes, yeah, if you get, I said like 10 people, would that be a good way to get a discount? She goes, yeah, and if you get kind of close, I'll probably give it to you. She really wants us to come. And apparently it's a slow time. So yeah, I understand Legacy. It's for a lot of you guys, it's a long trip. And hey, if this goes well, there will be a big geek con too. So don't be bashful in a few years. Hopefully
we're going to do our best to at least have some pictures posted up on Twitter and the Facebook page and the website, hopefully.
Very good Wi-Fi. She said they have very good Wi-Fi.
We may be able to do some short live streaming from the con both days, maybe pre-con, maybe post-con. Not sure, but we're going to do something.
Oh, yeah, Malachi. Oh, I was hoping you'd make it, Malachi. Understand, dude. A little bit of a last minute. I mean, not truly last minute, but heck, it's almost May, and yeah. So Randy's
I
screwed
mean,
around
the
for a long.
ticket's not expensive, but
Yeah, you
the
gotta get it.
hotel and gas or whatever getting down
Gas
here,
or
yeah,
flying
it's
in.
not.
Yeah,
It's not too cheap. It's not real cheap.
yeah. So we're trying to make the actual event cost as cheap as possible because yeah, people come from out of town. It's going to cost a bit. I hope some of our friends also stay at the hotel. So she did not mention anything about a discounted thing for me though in the room, but I guess if people do that, who knows? We might get something good.
So right, was there something about if we get so many people, we'll get a room?
That was the last lady. She didn't mention this, but you know what I'm going to do?
Uh,
If we get 10 or more people to get a room and say, "Hey, can you hook a brother up?"
yeah.
And she seemed more than willing to do that. Yeah, I got you, Malachi. It's we'd love to see you, but I understand. I'm going to be looking. I think Shadow and Son, when I was on his podcast, he was talking about. I thought he was talking about going to. He was going to have a convention sometime, and he was talking about having a meetup at North Texas Con. I think that would be cool. What is that?
So apparently, my wife is emasculating me in public. That's a word she learned the other day.
Emasculation.
She says he was joking about the hair, Bruce. He is still waiting for it to come in.
I heard her. Do it. Do it, Powder Puff. Oh,
She likes to make jokes.
she is a jokey lady. I like her. She's all right for a girl. There will be no hookups. It's not that type of con.
Oh, what is that in reference to?
I don't know. Oh, like a convention, like the whole thing. Sales.
Oh, our convention isn't going to be attracting any weirdos. Like, I mean, it's
That's
not
not
big
true.
enough.
We're going to be there, so
That's right. That's right.
there's going to be some weirdos.
All of the professional, all of the professionals, we will be swarming that hotel when we arrive.
No, they will not. It's a pretty cool location. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, sorry. I think that's all I got from the
legacy game mastering. So I can't get a discount for selling my body.
You can sell your body at a discount if you want. I'm not saying no.
I'm saying no.
Joe's
Randy is,
the boss. Joe's the boss. So
well, you might be able to convince Randy, but no. All right.
is that
So
PA
more details
podcast?
to follow. More details as far as we'll tell you when the tickets are available.
Big Geek Con's happening though. Yeah.
When the tickets are available, potential for T-shirts because we're going to need a design for the T-shirt.
If we only knew an artist, man. I wish we did.
We're not gonna have one until after Cabin Con.
Right. Yeah. Well, we got a lot. Yeah, Cabin Con. We're going to be a little busy next week or so thinking about Cabin Con.
So if we have T-shirts, the design for any T-shirt for this is not going to be available for probably a month. So
I will be next Tuesday when we podcast. It'll be like 2 days before Cabin Con, man. I'm going to be beside myself pumped about Cabin Con.
So next week is going to be orcs.
I think we're going to do a monster mash on orcs and humanoids.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Someone named Patrick goes, they're talking about me, aren't they? Like,
No.
duh. Get chained back into your art table, slave.
Yes.
Come on. Do your work, Patrick. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be talking about a monster mash next week. Yeah, I was going to do it this week, and Joe said, hey, I had an idea, remember? And I'm like, Joe, I don't ever listen to you.
Yeah, he says, I need ideas for our show. and I give him an idea, and then he doesn't do it.
No, what I should have said is I need ideas that I come up with.
But they come out of my mouth
Right.
somehow.
We got to figure that out. Yeah. All right. RPG done. Take care, brother. Feel better and better. I'm looking forward to another Nightlight adventure soon. Issue number 2 has been delayed. We need to make it happen. As soon as you're up to it, I'll be ready. All right. I think that's it. Unless you got something about Big Geek Emporium.
We are still fixing bugs. I'm hoping to get. So let's see. There. There. All right. I have an issue tracker. They did the rapid work on the merch. That was great.
Oh, cool.
I have a longer one up here. Let's see what's done, not done. The gift cards and having physical products available on the site are both coming soon. Hopefully, will be done this weekend. I'm hoping they do it in. They do a lot of work over weekends, and hopefully that will be those will be done next. We don't have a new feature rollout beyond that scheduled yet. As soon as the issues are all dealt with, then we'll talk about features, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right. So, all that being said, let me get into the correct.
Yeah, get into the mode.
There we go. All right. Anything else from Randy?
I think I'm good, man.
All right, then. If you'd like to support our show, we're going to have some links in our show notes that will direct you to places where you can give us your monies. If not, you can like, subscribe, share, tell your friends and enemies about our show. Thank you, Shauna, for coming in at the end when we're doing our end credits. But we appreciate it.
Probably all he can take.
Probably all he could take. Yeah, the rest of it is probably garbage.
He's like, I'm trying to give you a little bit of love, guys, but don't expect too much.
You could hit the speed up play, and maybe by the time, you still won't be done by the time we're done with this part. But you can watch. You can listen. You can watch the show while we're talking really fast.
Which is apparently
anyway
difficult.
We'll have some links up on the show notes for you to be able to support us directly, or if you don't want to do that, just do all the liking and subscribing and sharing that you normally do everywhere else. If you want to visit us on the web, you can go to biggestgeekispodcast.com. And if that website is not up to standards, then go over to biggeekemporium.com and purchase some stuff over there. Help out our indie devs and buy some merch from us. That would be great. If you have any questions, email us at thegeeks@biggestgeekispodcast.com. All right, then. So anything else from you, Mr. Randy, before we get out of here?
We got a couple. I think Kitty and Patty are in Texas. Bruce, I think, is in Texas.
Yep.
I feel like if we came to North Texas Con one year, could you guys go too? Is that close enough to you guys? I don't even know where that is. So that would be cool. Yeah, they're saying that Kitty's like 30 hours away. I think they're in Texas. So
California.
Oh, Patty's in Idaho. Oh, okay. Patty's Parlor and Kitty are in Idaho. Bruce is in someone else is it T-shirted? T-shirt is in Texas.
I don't know.
He's in Texas. I don't know.
I can't remember.
My point was Shadow and Son. I thought he was talking about, even though he's in California, I thought he was talking about doing a meetup convention. I think it'd be cool if all the people that are kind of buds here, we got all these good folks doing, if we had a meetup convention in a couple years, that'd be cool just to get together, and like North Texas Con could be a cool place to go.
Right. Or Archon.
Or Joe, you got to spend money to make money, baby.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Patty and Kitty are both artists. Ooh.
Good deal. That's awesome.
We can hire Patrick, chain them to their desks.
All
Oh. artist people. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I think it's time.
All right. If that's all,
Finally.
this is Joe.
And this is Randy.
And remember, if you can't be big like us, then be geeks like us.